Welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I am Eric. And it is very... What is this? What is happening?
I don't know.
Luke, I am your father.
I mean,
We got to
welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I'm Eric.
Can we restart that? My voice cracked.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I'm Eric.
Perfect.
Great.
We've been having a lot of technical difficulties, so if the sound is a little weird,
That's okay.
we don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's been a strange one, but a lot of stuff has happened this week.
Hell yes, it has.
We've got some interesting things to talk about. First, what do you want to start with today?
All right, let's get some... I got a bunch of stuff here. I thought we would talk about with vaping.
Okay.
Thought we would start with that. So I'm sure most of you have seen it. It's a very... people talking about it a lot. The Trump administration plans to ban the sale of flavored electronic cigarettes. If you don't know what those are, I don't know what to tell you because I don't really want to explain
It's
it.
when those kids are ripping sick clouds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that because they produce more smoke or steam or whatever? Is that why they use those? Or?
Basically, when you're seeing the people who are making just huge vape clouds,
Yeah.
those are what are called modded. So there's specialty parts, and you can kind of like cobble together your own vape. Now, electronic cigarettes is sort of a misnomer in that case, because I'm not 100% sure if vapes technically fall under that, because there's also electronic cigarettes that are closer to what a cigarette looks like.
Yeah.
And then there's like vape pens, and then there's the big chunky
The big
vapors.
ones that people, yeah. So I guess the Trump administration, I'll just read a little quote here. The Trump administration is making it clear that we intend to clear the market of flavored e-cigarettes to reverse the deeply concerning epidemic of youth e-cigarette use that is impacting children, families, schools, and communities. We will not stand idly by these products while these products become an on-ramp to combustible cigarettes or nicotine addiction for a generation of youth. I find it funny that we're talking about an addiction for a generation when, like, cigarettes, I think, are probably at an all-time low, like tobacco, which is way worse. Like, not even comparable. We're talking lung disease. I mean, I guess I'll start, if you want to know my stance on it. Basically, who cares? If people want to do it as a way to get off of smoking, that's great. If they want to do it as a hobby, sure. I don't know too much about it, to be honest. Like, I don't know really the adverse effects of vaping. Like, I know
Nobody does right now.
I know that, like, there's a lot of sugar in it, I guess.
Yes.
So you have to make sure your oral hygiene is good to go.
Right.
But I mean, as my personal thing is, do what you want. I think this is stupid. But personally, nothing's better than oxygen.
And that'll kill you too.
Too much of it.
Yeah.
In your blood.
Apparently, a huge reason why we age is actually oxygen.
I mean,
so eventually,
there's really nothing we can do about that.
Eventually, it takes us all.
It's our life support.
But also, on that same note with the vaping, there have been a lot of fear-mongering. There's been a lot of fear-mongering recently.
Okay.
On all of the news sites, saying that there have been a lot of cases connected directly to vaping with deaths. But what they fail to say in these things, unless it's like deep in the article, is that the vast majority of those have been attributed to illegal aftermarket cartridges.
Okay.
Generally containing THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana. So it's like these aftermarket things, which are illegal.
Yeah.
It's just some guy named Craig filling them up with some juice. And that's the problem with, a lot of different drugs on the street. It's like, if you're buying this from Craig down the street, you don't know what he's put in there.
Yeah.
You don't know if there's extra fillers in there so that it looks like you're getting a larger quantity, stuff like that. Now, I know Eric hasn't partaken in illicit substances.
I have not. I had a cigarette once.
Wow.
I was 9. It's a long story.
Okay.
And I had an asthma attack afterwards. So,
oh my god.
So
that's amazing.
And that's the end of my story. No.
But it's no secret. I used to smoke pot a lot. But there had been times where I would, get pot from a new person or something, and I'd smoke it, and I'd be like, "There's something in this.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is, but it's making me see cartoon deer."
Yeah. Listen, I really have a libertarian view on this stuff. I think cigarettes, I think marijuana, I think e-cigarettes should all be fine. I think we need to keep the laws on cigarettes, though, universal to the 3 of them. Like public smoking, I don't think should be allowed. I think we should also increase the charges if you buy for children. So that's the main point of this, right? Is because children are using e-cigarettes when they shouldn't be because they're underage, and how are they getting them? And
what's public smoking though?
Like in like restaurants, like you can't smoke in a restaurant or like a store, obviously.
Oh, so basically what they've already got.
Exactly. That's what I mean. No changes. That's my point. I just don't want someone smoke. I mean, there's been times where I've been walking, somewhere public and like in a parking lot and someone's smoking in your face or whatever like that. I mean, if you're a jerk, but most people are pretty considerate with that. They don't like to smoke around other people or they go off somewhere. But I think that should just be the same with everything else. And I think that I think that marijuana should also be like 21, because it is I'm not acting like I'm an expert. I'm not. I just know there's some adverse effects to the mind. I don't know.
When you are younger,
exactly. When you're younger,
marijuana can adversely affect your brain development.
Yeah. And I think that 18 is still.
So your brain is still developing at 18. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I do think that marijuana should be treated like alcohol.
Yeah.
And we all know prohibition didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to get rid of these things by, like with this Trump administration thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get rid of flavored stuff just by making a law about it. You're just making it less safe now because it's not.
Because now you're going to have people doing it that probably aren't manufacturing it correctly and
exactly
putting whatever in it. And I agree. I think it's not productive. We have not seen an epidemic. I don't think. I think there's an epidemic with children using them. I do. I think there's too many kids using them. What are the adverse effects? I'm not sure. Just not saying names. Just some people personally. I've known people that work with kids, and they just say that it is kind of an issue that kids just like get addicted to doing it. When I say addicted, I mean they just really want to all the time. I don't think it's an actual like addiction. Like they're gonna go into withdrawal if they stop.
Right.
But yeah, that's my viewpoint. Really, I don't understand. I don't get it. It's pointless. So,
right.
All right, let's move on to something more important. Chicken. So, do you eat at Popeyes?
No, never.
Do you know? Neither do I. I had it once and it was fine.
It was meh.
It was meh. So, do you know about the chicken sandwich at Popeyes? Do you know anything about it at all? What's been going on the last month?
Oh, they made a chicken sandwich to compete against Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah, so they made a chicken sandwich, and I guess it was really good. And they sold out. And when I say sold out, I mean everywhere. And I don't understand how you sell out of a chicken sandwich. All you need is a bun and bread. Like, did you run out of pickles? Like, what's going on? But they ran out of the chicken sandwich, and it got so bad that I guess a guy, I think it was down in Tennessee, I don't have the article, he's suing Popeyes because he took the time out of his day or whatever to go get a chicken sandwich, and they're sold out. It's super stupid. So anyway, Popeyes, I think it was this week or last week, introduced a kind of campaign to make people calm down called Popeyes BYOB, bring your own bun. Yeah, I kid you not. So literally it's just a box of chicken and then they're telling you to bring your own bun solution for its sold out chicken sandwich. So weeks after announcing that they were sold out for for their newly introduced chicken sandwich, Popeyes is allowing guests to bring their own buns, order a 3-piece tenders, and make their own chicken sandwiches right there on the spot. Super dumb.
I'm literally speechless. I have
Yeah.
What? What?
I'm just gonna bring a loaf of bread and just like
I'll take 12.
I'll take 12. Yeah, it's stupid. Honestly, the reason why I brought this up isn't because of Popeyes. It's because locally, do you know what's happening next week?
Chick-fil-A in Wilkes-Barre is opening.
The 19th. The Chick-fil-A in Wilkes-Barre will be opening, and I'm super pumped. Can't wait to go there. Yeah.
Are they even good?
I've only had them once.
Was it good?
I think so. No, I just want to try them again. A lot of comedians and people that I listen to, they talk about them a lot, and but they're coming in, and honestly, another reason why is because we just had we just had KFC for the first time in a while, and it was awful. It was truly awful.
It's just as bad as you remember.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I wonder how their chicken is. Not good. It's not. It's not good at all, and their service is worse, and they're not clean.
Yes.
I had to clean my own table.
It's
before I
very
sat in.
similar to Popeyes, actually.
I went through the drive-thru once for Popeyes. I got some chicken. It was fine.
I went in there, and I don't know, it was like a zoo.
Yeah.
I still got the food because, I mean, when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, this isn't very good.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. All right, let's I thought we would do an update. We talked about Antonio Brown last week. So I thought we would do an update.
Okay.
He last week was there was a civil lawsuit filed of sexual assault towards Antonio Brown. Did you see this?
No.
So if you go back and watch last week's podcast, or just go on Twitter and type in Antonio Brown, and you'll see everything. We pretty much broke down everything that happened with him, Steelers to Raiders to a bunch of issues, and then now he was released and he signed a 1-year deal with the Patriots, and that's where we left off. The day after, I guess an ex trainer filed a sexual assault civil lawsuit. And it was kind of like, what's going to happen with that? And so the NFL decided not to place him on a exempt list, which would make him ineligible to play for the year until that is resolved. And the reason why is because a police report wasn't filed. I guess it was just a lawsuit, like, you know. So we don't know what's going on. People were sharing photos of him smiling with the trainer, and I'm just like, well, that doesn't mean anything. Who knows what happened? I don't think he should be put on the exempt list. I think they did the right call. Because just because someone filed a claim, you know, it doesn't mean anything. You know, and then depending on how that follows, you know, they'll probably take action. But he's been pretty quiet, though, since he signed with the Patriots. There was footage of him wearing a helmet that he actually was supposed to wear from the start. He hasn't been tweeting much. He's been very quiet, so I think Bill Belichick probably shut him up. So, but yeah, that's Antonio Brown. He's playing against Miami. We'll see how he does. Probably awesome because he's Antonio Brown.
Welcome to Miami.
I think they are playing in Miami.
Miami.
All right. The debate.
The debate.
I did not watch it.
Did you watch it?
Did anyone watch it, or did you just watch the clips that were flying around?
I watched about half of it.
Yeah.
And then I just watched the highlights afterwards because it wasn't as dynamic as the first couple were.
Yeah. I have a cool graph here that I found. I think it was NBC that shared this. So this is a little breakdown of how long each candidate talked and what they talked about. So it was a pretty cool breakdown. That has the 10 candidates there. As you can see, Yang is at the bottom. Unacceptable. He's too polite. I didn't watch it, but I'm sure he was polite.
And he's giving you money.
He's giving you money. Come on.
He's giving you money. He's going to give 10 families $1,000 a month.
Yep.
For reasons?
I did see that he was going to do. I think he's just doing it to have people say, "What did you do with your $1,000 a month?" That kind of thing.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So Yang talked. His was pretty even across the board. So was O'Rourke. We'll come back to him in a second. Klobuchar, that's that senator. Castro, but basically the top two was Biden had about a little over 17 minutes. Warren had a little little over 16 minutes. Booker 14, Sanders about 14 as well. Harris had 13. You know, the people that you had expected. Nothing really jumps out to me. Healthcare seemed to be the dominator.
I mean, I feel like Sanders probably would have had a little bit more talk time if his voice would have been okay.
Was he messed up? Yeah.
He was losing his voice.
Oh.
He sounded like he smoked 3 packs a day
he is
for
99,
the last like 500 years.
I'm pretty sure he's 99 now. So
he's aged 10 years.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this breakdown here. I'm going to see if anything popped out. Looks like Biden talked about foreign policy a little bit more than everyone.
Is there an Obama option? Because they all talked about Obama a lot.
No, there's not.
Because they all like talked about Obama a lot.
Did they?
Yes.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't know if I don't think we talked about this on the podcast, but I think we talked off the podcast, and I was talking about it with some other people. You know, Obama's coming up a lot, not because he was the last Democratic president, but it's because of Biden. If you are going to attack Biden, the current frontrunner, you have to attack Obama. That's just that you have to.
They did,
because his policies are the same.
They did talk about his immigration policies in a negative fashion.
Yeah.
But then every single one of those people
Yeah.
was like, we owe a lot to Obama. We owe a lot to Obama.
It's hard. They're really maneuvering their way through this debate because it's like we need to attack Biden, so we need to attack the policies of Obama, but we also don't want to make moderate Democrats, or even just any Democrat upset because we're bashing Obama the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're going back and forth, and I assume it's probably a challenge for them getting prepared for these debates.
That's probably difficult.
Because Biden does have a shield, and it is Obama.
He's got the Obama shield.
Because even though they might truly not agree with a lot of Obama's policies, or you could argue that they're just kind of playing into the current progressive movement.
I think it was Castro, and at some point one of his sound bites was, I am living up to the legacy of Obama, and he's saying this to Biden, and you're not.
Castro is one.
I was just like,
He's my new Eric Swalwell. I don't like him. He's my least favorite Democrat running now, since Swalwell's gone. Still hate that guy. I think O'Rourke has kind of O'Rourke and Castro are kind of there. Before we jump to O'Rourke, was there anything else that kind of jumped out to you? I know you watched a little bit of it.
There was it. Now,
not much on climate change.
This was interesting.
Not much on
there
climate
was
change.
And you can find the soundbite on the internet.
Yeah.
There was a question that was posed to Harris directly from a moderator. I'm not even sure it was a question. Basically, it was just the moderator bashing Harris.
I did hear that people were upset with ABC.
Just like, wow, gloves off on that one. Holy crap, it was bad.
I did hear that people were upset with ABC, like that there was some issues and that their moderators didn't do a good job. So I wasn't sure. Again, I didn't watch. I only watched some clips, but yeah,
there was a huge.
I do hate when they do. I do hate when they do that. You know who I feel is one of the best moderators, and I'm not saying this. Actually, I don't even like their news network, so I don't really care. One of the Fox moderators, I forget his name. He was on Colbert like 2 weeks ago. Oh, that's gonna bother me now. Hold on,
I got nothing.
I gotta pull up his name. Hold on. But I do hate when moderators kind of step into the arguing role, debate role. Like that's not your job. Your job is to maneuver everyone.
If the question had simply been, you changed because she did change her stance on a couple issues.
Mm-hmm.
If the question had been, why did you change your stance on these issues, and that was it, it would have been fine. But it was a long question that was very targeted.
Yeah.
And that was annoying.
Chris Wallace. That is not it at all. Anyway, Chris Wallace from Fox. He's very good, I find. He was on Colbert talking about him, and when he did a lot of the Republican stuff, I feel like he did a really good job, not just letting the Republicans say their talking points. He kind of challenged them a little bit. He goes back and forth, and he doesn't really engage in that. So I like him the most, I think, out of all the news networks that I've seen. Yeah, that is annoying.
I want Joe Rogan to moderate the next
Joe Rogan
debate.
should totally.
And I just want him to be like, all right, I've got a question for all of the candidates.
Yeah.
Have you ever done DMT? just outlandish. I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. So let's talk about this Hail Mary a little bit, and that's what I'm calling this a Hail Mary. So O'Rourke, I'm sure you saw the video.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just read the quote here. One of the moderators from ABC, I don't know his name, asked him about his current stance after El Paso and Odessa. They asked him about a stance on semi-automatic rifles. I know I'm not gonna say assault weapons because it bothers me. But his quote: "Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15 and your AK-47. We're not going to allow them to be used against your fellow Americans anymore." So that's the short quote. And he kind of came out and the crowds were yelling and clapping, and now he has T-shirts to sell because capitalism. Yeah, he has a shirt, red, white, and blue, says "Hell yes" in blue, and it's like, "We're going to take your AR-15." Like it's like in red, white, and blue. Yeah, I saw it on his.
That
his
was
one
fast.
page. It was fast.
He's got a designer on
He's
call.
got a good.
I'm
He's
sure.
got a good marketing team. So yeah, we talked about it last week. I actually wanted to do it this week, but because of the three of our schedules, it wasn't going to line up, so I didn't even bother asking him. We are going to do another Second Amendment /guns/firearms podcast to talk a little bit more. But yeah, this, I find this to be a little bit of a Hail Mary, because he is low in the polls and he is playing hard on this one point. And I know other people have went with this route, but he's very vocal about it, and that's kind of his main issue now. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's the logistical idea behind that is outlandish.
You have to think about, like, you have to put yourself, like, let's say that was the case. Am I saying that no one would willingly, turn in their rifles? No, I'm sure there's Americans out there that would do that. I'm saying that the majority probably wouldn't if they had, because if you've got
one of those,
yeah,
you wanted it.
Yeah, you wanted it, and I see. I follow a couple gun pages, and every time something like this comes out, the memes come out like oh no, and then like it's like a drawing of like all their guns in a boat. It's like, I lost all my guns in a boating accident. They're at the bottom of the lake,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a Hail Mary on his part. He's definitely not going to be running for senator in Texas anytime soon with this
no
talking point. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it plays out for him.
I mean, I gotta say, this debate, he was not boring.
Boring Beto.
He wasn't boring Beto.
Yeah.
He was interesting, this debate. Also, here was another stupid thing. Mm-hmm. I forget what the question was, which is probably important in a debate. But
I remember the answer.
Booker was answering the question.
Yeah.
And the answer to the question was no. And he's like, no. And I'm going to translate that into Spanish. No.
That's pretty funny.
And I was like, there you go, buddy.
That's funny.
There you go.
You got to make something memorable because you have no talking points. I don't even know what Booker's main thing is.
Nope. Got nothing. He is Spartacus.
Yeah. I would say that Joe Biden's kind of playing towards the moderate Democrats. Me, I know you have been in public office forever. I would say Bernie's kind of playing towards more of, I guess you could say more of the socialist kind of, more social programs.
Right.
Warren has kind of stepped into that role. She's trying to beat Bernie out for that. Harris,
but they do have things that are coinciding.
They have a lot of things, I think, that are coinciding.
And it seems
I don't know I don't know what's different between them.
Honestly, it sort of seems like Bernie and Harris are kind of colluding in a way.
Yeah.
They're kind of coming together,
mm-hmm.
and if one of them were to be chosen, I'm pretty certain that the other one would be a running mate.
I say that on Bernie's point. I do not think Harris would choose Bernie as
probably
a VP.
Not.
I think Harris would choose I think probably another young Democrat to
Booker.
be a running mate.
Spartacus.
I don't
know.
No,
it wouldn't be
know.
Booker.
I don't think it would be Booker. It
might be Harris.
No, I'm saying if Harris was chosen, I would say, and maybe we'll do this as we get closer. We can once we get down to the top 3 or 5 Democrats, we'll make predictions of who they would choose as running mates.
Right.
But
then again, sometimes with running mates, it's just a Hail Mary.
Well, yeah. Who remembers McCain's running mate? Oh gosh, what's her name now?
the Alaska
governor.
Sarah Palin.
Thank you.
That's the one.
That was gonna kill me. Yeah. So that was out of the blue, and that's because he was a very old man, so he had to choose someone. Yeah. And then unless you're Trump, and then you just pick, I mean, I'm not saying Pence and Trump are the same. They're definitely not the same politically. But who was Romney's running mate? Ryan.
Right.
Paul Ryan.
Paul.
Two boring men.
No, Ryan was.
He was
interesting at some points.
He's fine. I like. Yeah.
He worked out. Yeah. He was swole.
He played to that crowd, the swole Republicans.
when he released that photo of him like at the gym,
yeah,
and he's like all muscly, and I was just like, all right, man.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with all of your political views, but good for you.
He's playing to the single moms.
Is Romney too boring for you? Try Ryan.
Slightly less.
It's like milk, and milk with a little sugar added.
We got 2% in whole milk. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the debate. I don't know when the next one is. I didn't watch this because nothing really changed. Like, at least now we're not down to 10 candidates, but we're down to the 10 candidates that matter.
Right.
Everyone I know Inslee dropped out. We talked about it last week. A lot of people dropped out. I don't know if Bennett is still running. Probably, but who cares? If you're not qualifying for the third debate, you should just drop out. Like, what are you doing? You can't even, like Steve Bullock. Like, if you can't qualify for these debates, you just need to leave. We're down to 10. I'm sure we'll see it get down to maybe 8 or 6 by the end of the year. And then we got the primaries next spring. It's going to be here before you know it. It's less than a year away.
Man, I've got something I forgot about. Maybe I don't.
No.
Nope. I didn't save it.
Okay.
Just cut this part out.
So yeah, cigarettes, chicken, Antonio Brown, debate. Those were our topics. We'll cut that too. Ignore everything.
All right. Do we have anything else?
No, we're done. We're gonna be done now.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for watching. This has been Ramble.
Bye.
I'm Matt.
Bye.